So another reason that you practice is unique is there's a psychological component. What we're talking about here is an addiction. It's a food addiction. And first and foremost, you have to get the biochemical, the physiology under control. That's the diet. But you still have a lifetime of, the psychological addiction that you're going to have to deal with. The way you've used foods, the way foods have rewarded your brain, the way you've not done other things and overcompensated in other ways to deal with the food. Once the food goes away, all kinds of things happen. There's grief, there's anger, there's lashing out, there's dealing with time. What are you going to do with all that time? There's a lot of grief about not being able to eat the things, but also grief about how much time you've wasted. And there's details. There's details like, what do I do in these situations that I'm so used to? I'm used to, whenever I drive by Starbucks, stopping and getting a Frappuccino. That's a habit. That's a psychological habit. And those things have to be rewired in your brain over time. And it's not a quick process. The cravings go away immediately. The psychological rewiring takes a lot of time. That's why with my girls, I talk to them every single day. And for as long as it takes, and it usually takes about a year. Now, am I talking to my girls extensively every day for a year? Of course not. But they call me at least once a day just to check in. Sometimes it's just, hey, it's Stephanie, I'm great, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And that's fine. But sometimes it's, I'm going to this party, or last night my mom made my favorite dessert and I didn't eat it. I'm so proud of myself. So I might say, well, that's great, but of course you didn't eat it. You're a skinny girl, you don't eat those things. But I want you to know that every time you say no, the next time's easier because you're building new neural pathways. So I remind them, not only is it happening, every time they say no, they're building a new habit, a new association. But just telling you that when you do it, yay, you did great today, big deal. It's bigger than that because new things are happening, and each time it's going to be easier. And to remind them that, within some period of time, 6 months to a year, you won't even say, oh, good for me, I didn't eat that dessert, because it wouldn't even occur to you because you don't eat that dessert. You would never stop at Starbucks and get a Frappuccino because you don't even have that memory literally in your brain anymore. I mean, you remember it, but it's not a memory. So that takes a lot of reminding. I have to remind my girls, when they forget, when they say, oh, well, can't I test it to see if I still have this reaction? I have to remind them where they were. I have to remind them how miserable they are. I have to remind them of the habits they used to have. So it's a complicated process, and it takes a long time. Different events, different issues happen over time too. So the beginning is very different than my girls on maintenance. Once people have lost weight, they go through a whole nother set of changes. So those are important factors to deal with, or people will just, revert back.